T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Acquire, master, and launch your vision today with Vision Writers USA.
Greetings, family. Welcome to your Male Perspective program with the fellas. We come from it with a male perspective. We're here to empower the community, not only just men, but we're here to bring solutions to our problems. We're also here to help to empower you mentally, spiritually, physically, and even the economical arena. We have Brother LG in the building. We have Brother James in the building. And today we're going to be holding it down. Our Brother Timothy, he'll be on a little bit later. Our brother had to handle some business. Tonight we're going to be talking about mental health. It's definitely been a subject matter that's been near and dear to our heart. Hopefully you go back and watch the other program that we did prior to this one. I promise you it'll bless you because we are here again to bring some solutions to the problem as it relates to our mental health. I want to welcome my brother Mando in the building. Thank you for coming on the platform, brother Mando. How you doing, King?
I'm doing well, y'all. It's good to see you. Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure can. Sure can.
What's going on, brother Lawrence, brother James, brother Alton, and folks on the broadcast? Happy belated Mother's Day to all. Whether you are a mother, whether you celebrate those who have been a mother or a superhuman figure in your life. Missed y'all. Excuse me for being absent in the past.
It's all good.
Ripping and running, but the life is good. I experienced today, so that's always a great start to the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, fellas, we're going to dive into the subject matter, mental health. But before we do that, I'd like to go around the room for everybody to introduce themselves. We're going to start out with Brother LG, following thereafter, Brother James, and Brother Mondo.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm LG, Lawrence Green. When you think of me, I'd like to talk about marketing so you can get your business right. I have some trainings available, teach you how to find customers, how to decide who your ideal customer is going to be, where to find them, and how to build your business around that. So that's what I'm about.
All right. I'm the Pudgy Man P, better known as James Perry, comedian, mental health advocate, and father. I'm just a good set of ears if anybody needs to talk, because I've been on the other side of the mental health thing, and I know what it feels like to feel alone. So if you need somebody to talk to, I'm your guy.
Good evening, y'all. Again, Armando Jimenez, go by Mondo, checking in from Connecticut, the northwest corner of the country, the basketball country. A lot of folks don't know where it's at, so got to represent. A father, 10 months into this fatherhood game, which is the greatest promotion ever. But I work on strategy, more personal development strategy. And when I say that is folks who need help understanding that inner flame, that inner genius, right? If you need to bounce ideas off of a rubber wall, but also here, as Brother Perry mentioned, you need somebody to listen to you. I'm all ears.
Excellent. We're going to have Brother Namaste Thug introduce himself. How you doing, King?
I'm doing wonderful, God. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing well. Good, brother.
thought, then catch me up on speed. What we got going on?
Yes, sir. So right now we're doing the introduction. Today's topic of discussion is going to be mental health, and right now we're just going around the room, just introducing ourselves, and then thereafter, after everybody's done, we're going to dive into the subject, which of course is mental health.
Gotcha. First of all, namaste, gods and goddesses. I'm Coach Ham, a health and wellness coach. I deal with spiritual guidance and also Reiki, healing past life in your DNA, in the mental, and I help you change your belief system about yourself. So I do a lot of energy work, a lot of spiritual alignment, and the main thing going to that DNA and dealing with the low vibration beliefs that keep us so tethered to, the feelings of lower vibration, anger, aggression, codependence, or whatever it may be.
Wonderful, wonderful, excellent family. I am Alton D. Walden III. I am the CEO of Sky Legacy Financial Services, along with my beautiful wife. She's executive director. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My wife and I, we in real estate. And to the financial business, we provide you and your family the financial tools that you need. We focus on cash value life insurance. We help you with credit restoration, business credit, business funding. We're also in the e-commerce space as well as the freight industry space. What we like to do is we like to help families to be able to create and to transfer wealth. All right, that's what I do. I'm the minister of wealth in our community. I came from poverty, came from the rough inner city of Rochester, New York, where I was born and raised. So I know what it is to grow up on welfare. I know what it is to go to the corner store and get credit. I know what poverty looks like. I lived in it, but I was taught by some of my fellow brothers and sisters in the community about these various financial strategies, and it had economically empowered me in a position me to be able to fully retire at the age of 39 years old. I actually seen my wife come from off of her job, transitioning from being a W-2 employee. Nothing wrong with that. That's how we got here. That was the foundation, and now we're in all the businesses that are aforementioned together, creating and transferring wealth to our families. So with that being said, we get ready to dive in on the subject on today. Again, mental health. We're going to start out with the poll, gentlemen. So we're going to go whoever want to go first. You know what I'm saying? No problem. So we're going to start with the poll. How do you process your anger now as compared to the past or in your younger years? I see Brother James smiling. Let's go, Brother James, after you take a swig on this swig.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I deal with my anger the exact same way, full on temper tantrum. It's easy for me to do anger. It's an easy state for me because no matter what the actual situation is, I get to release everything I've been holding on to. And that's why it really takes a lot for me to get mad, because when I do get mad, you getting everything I can let go. And I've been that way for a very long time. And it's only because I hold so much in. And I feel like if I had a better outlet, my anger process would probably be different. But as I'm working on myself, I've been working on that. So
I love to go next, our specialist, because he deals with this a lot, man. So I definitely want to hear it from my good brother Namaste Thug, because our brother definitely does this for a living, his background. So King, we definitely want you to drop some jewels. And after that, brother LG, then brother Mondo, then I'll be last.
Anger through sexual relations. I was using women for sexual therapy when I was angry and things of that nature. I would take it out on them physically in a sexual manner. Now I allow myself to actually breathe and feel that anger and see if it's truly real or is it some old residue from a past situation. So now I just breathe, allow myself to feel it and make it okay, and just actually question myself: is it truly anger or is it something in the past need to release right now that's being present right now, and want my chin as if it's real right now.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel
Mhm.
like
LG.
I would let it build up, and then all of a sudden it erupt, and I would not necessarily allow it. I was so uh I guess afraid of it might be a good word, or so resistant to even let it occur that I just said, no, it's not gonna happen, not gonna happen. And then eventually what happened, and then people be like, what the heck? But as I've gotten older, I've gotten to learn how to anticipate it. I've gotten to learn how to manage my own intentions, what I want to have happen during situations. And now I'm willing to let it flow when I feel it's going to serve a purpose. So, and I think, and it's actually interesting because I will feel completely in control. I'll be able to hug somebody, but I could be screaming at you, and to get my point across when it's going to actually serve that purpose, which I know it might even be hard to understand, especially I know the people that have seen this don't quite understand it, but they feel compelled to start listening to you and to start to resolve the situation. Which, and it doesn't happen that often, but I think it's nothing to be feared. It's something to be controlled.
right. I wish I had that control. I'm afraid of my anger. That's why I never discipline my children when I'm mad because I'm afraid I'll take it out on them.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
Now I
so
want.
we want to. Can we let brother Mondo go real quick? Let him put his perspective in, and we could dive in. We could go around, do popcorn style.
Grown, the way I used to deal with it was reactionary. Oh, you got me mad, so I'm here now. Like, well, I'm going to deal with this right here, right now. I'm upset now. I'm not going to be upset later, you know. But as I've grown, a big part of it has, for me to understand, I think, Brother Perry, you mentioned it. If you've gotten me to the point of being upset, there's been a lot. And I've learned to try to not let it build up, right? Because people's like a capsule, starts to build, and all of a sudden it's pow, and it's a wrath, right? For me, there's certain things, right? You forgive, right? But we never forget. And there's a point in time where I'm like, I've given you one chance, I've given you two chances, or this has bothered me and I've shared it. I also, before I do reach that point of explosion or wrath, I sit back and I've learned to reflect on understanding, have I done everything in my control to try to mitigate or at least influence a change of something that was disruptive to my well-being? So like if you come and you leave your shoes in front of the door and I move them over one time, you come and leave your shoes in front of the door, I move them a second time. The third time you leave, I'm not going to go to you and be like, what's going on? How dare you? For me, it's like, hey, let me have a conversation with you. Every time I come home, your shoes in front of the door. I moved them over a couple times. Will you please just make sure they're out the way? Here's why. Right now, if you continue to do it, now I'm to the point where now you just don't want to listen. Now I feel slighted because I shared with you something that bothered me and why. I asked you politely what steps you can take for us to just, kind of meet that common ground. But you like whatever. And so for me, I've kind of taken the first step to reflect before I react. So, it's kind of been my progression to where I am today.
As for myself, how do I process it? Now, man, it's more prayer, meditation. Like my good brother Namaste, me crossing over on the spiritual side, man. Before it was, and it wasn't that long ago, man. Like I have to be honest, it's something, and that's why I love having brother Namaste on, especially after this. Man, I would love for you to talk about it because you talk about it in the DNA a lot. Because I recognize that, it's something that carried on from my mother and from my father. I just had to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because both of them have tempers, you know what I'm saying? So, and then a lot of people in my family, you know what I mean? So I recognize it's something that I really had to deal with because it was a trait, and it was something I had to really fight, especially growing up in the atmosphere that I grew up in. You know, so what I had to do is learn conflict resolution. You know, I had to learn a better way of because you know sometimes you think that, oh, I'm doing, and it's true, you're doing better if you're not being physical with your fist. But as we all know, you can still harm somebody with your mouth. Your mouth is still a weapon too. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that. You know, in my mind, I'm, oh, okay, I ain't beat him up. You know what I'm saying, with my fist. You know, so I was like, well, you know, and I had to learn about words. I'll be honest with you, because I'm so blunt. I'm so straight to, it's my personality too, and so straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? So blunt, I had to learn how to, even though you're telling the truth, you know, there's hurtful truths that you can tell too, right? Like somebody is obese, right? So it may be true that they are, but you don't say it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I had to learn how to, you know, control not only myself physically, but I had to learn how to control myself spiritually too. I had to watch, you know, not spewing out death out of my mouth. So now what I do is I do like my brother say, the breathing. You know, and I'll sit there and I think, you know, and I'll listen to my thoughts, and I have to tell myself, like, deny myself, like, nah, you're not saying that. No, you're not doing that. I have to deny myself. I have to tell myself no, you know, because I think sometimes us as spiritual people or religious, I think sometimes we look at this outer source, you know what I'm saying, to help you, you know what I'm saying, to do certain things, but sometimes it's really you. You gotta, that's why it's called self-control. And I'll leave it at that, because brother, now I'm saying I would love for you to touch a little bit more on that. And then after that, gentlemen, we'll go to the next poll, unless some of you got some other things you want to say. And after Namaste, please do your popcorn style and just give each other the opportunity to talk. That'd be great.
Another thing I did too. First of all, thank you for that breathing and being so truthful. Now I exercise now, you know, because a lot of time us, we get older, we get out of our body. We have a chemical imbalance. When we work out, we bounce those chemicals back out. We start feeling good about ourselves. So now that anger and aggression can be used for something else different. We can actually become an alchemist and transform that, because a lot of time our anger and aggression comes from fear. So we're living in fear. We can't survive in fear. We got to either choose fear or love. So that's breathing and actually sitting, allow yourself to feel that and being truthful about it, and having do that you can call and truthfully speak about your emotional feelings without feel like you're being judged. So that was very powerful, having people that I can speak to that have a common bond and can relate to what I'm saying.
Right. I feel that. I just know sometimes I feel like I don't have a middle. And that's why I say I'm afraid of my anger. And that's why I never discipline my kids when I'm upset, because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't have a middle. If you spill some milk on the table or punch my mom in the face, I'm going to react the exact same way, full throttle. And that's why I say my anger, it scares me. So I try to be cool and laid back, and I hold a lot of stuff in. So when I do release it, that's why I say it's unfair for me to release this anger on somebody. So I have to let them push me to the line, because they about to get everything I got. And I feel like I do it to myself, because I allow them to push me to the line so that I can release that anger. And that's what I'm trying to work on, is stopping it.
Anybody
Yeah,
else
I
care
guess
to
kind of
touch on to this? Oh, okay, go
what
ahead,
I was
bro.
gonna say is, no, basically, I think one difference is rather than let it build up, you know, if I feel that it has a useful purpose, I'll let it go earlier so that it has a chance to be useful rather than just, oh, I'm crazy now. Because I mean, there's a reason why I wasn't doing it before. I think in some ways I felt it was unacceptable before, and now I realize sometimes it is acceptable and it actually helps people. Like I noticed, like used to be my wife's role to be the one getting angry in certain situations. Now I do that instead of me being the one trying to help her feel better. She's the one trying to help me feel better. But the truth is, I felt I was controlling in the first place. I just helped her not have to go there herself.
Yeah, I feel that. And like he was saying about the shoes, I'm the same way. But the thing about the shoes is the first time you leave the shoes, I tell you, hey, don't leave your shoes here. It's a trip hazard. Every time I walk through here, I'm kicking the shoes around. Please don't leave your shoes here. The second time you leave your shoes there, I throw them out the door. And that's why I say I try not to get angry, because sometimes I feel like I overreact. But sometimes I feel like if you grab a tiger's tail, you get whatever the tiger gives you.
That's fair. That's fair on the tiger tail part.
I don't know if it really. I remember I saw your post the other day that said that some stuff in life is like turning you into a villain. I think that's what it was. And my post was like, or my response was, a lot of times the hero and the villain have the same backstory. They come from the same situation, but the hero they just handle it differently. So I mean, I don't care with the anger, but I want to use the anger to something that actually fix the issue. Like I actually said something. Well, two things. Either I acted in a way where they said, well, maybe that's not okay, or maybe I was able somehow to say something in that anger where it hit home to him and said, well, maybe I don't gotta do that. On a logical level, either it's because I'm the one in charge, or it's because it really made sense to him.
I get that. She's saying be Batman, not the Joker.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's good.
Brother Mando, you got anything to say, brother?
No, I'm just listening. It's and I appreciate you all sharing, because it is important. I'm even learning in this space, right? It's important to understand that, because the way we cope with things differently, right? Like I guess falling on the topic of mental health, right? Like when we keep stuff in, we are contradicting our mental health. And a lot of times, let me not speak for others, I keep that stuff in to protect others from feeling this, back to the term wrath, right? Like I say, let me not go off, or let me not react to something, right? Because I don't want this. I'm protecting somebody else's feelings and their mental state, right? Even if it's at work, a big part of it is like, I'm tired of telling you about your shoes, but I also know if I tell you what I really want to tell you, how is that going to now impact and influence, right, what it is? But then I also realize it's contradictory to my mental health, because if I'm taking on those problems, those challenges, that adversity myself, and I'm worried about how you going to cope with them, then I'm already going against my whole being of like, I need to release this off myself, right? And I think that's a big part of everything. As I listen to all of us here, right, is a lot of the things that the brothers have mentioned, I'm thinking like, man, I do that too, right? And I think a big part of mental health awareness and strength and building is exactly what, what I'm saying, brother LG, brother Namaste, brother Alton, brother Perry mentioned, is like the first part of it is realization, right? To understand, people like, oh, I'm not mad. No, bro, you mad. It's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to be mad. But it's also like an emotional thing, right? We talk about anger, right? But we also, it says here anger, jealousy, envy, and hurt, right? Like failure, right? Criticism, jealousy, like, and we were always told, again, excuse me, I was always told as a man, don't let them see you weak. And right, crying is a sign of weakness, right? Having an excuse is a sign of weakness, right? Like I used to box for 6 years and I lost a match, right? And I cried. And my coach was like, what you crying for? I was like, coach, man, I could have beat him. And he was like, man, well, you just get back out. You don't cry. And as I grew older, I said, wait, but I'm human. Like, coach, let me cry, because if not, then me and you gonna be in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Coach, let me be upset, coach. Like this ain't you. You didn't lose the match. I lost the match. But it's okay for me to cry. It's okay for me to be upset. Right? But the first part of that is realization, right? As men, as society always tells us, you got to be the barbarian, you got to be the breadwinner, No, man, it's okay to show emotion, especially as men of color, right? Because society has a stigma where we are aggressive, we're loud. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you grab the tiger's tail. The tiger is chilling. The tiger doesn't care.
Mind his business.
Mine is right. Mine is. I know you there. Trust me, I know you there.
If I wanted you, I could have been ate you.
I don't even have to say anymore, brother, because you picking up what I'm dropping. You know what I'm saying? You making we here. We're aligning here, bro. Like, what's the point? Hey, I know you here. I heard you when you came in. I smelled you when you came in. But you know what? You don't disrupt my peace. I don't disrupt yours. But now you touch my tail. Hey, I'm gonna look at you. So let you know, hey, you touch my tail. It's cool, right? All right. Second, now you trying to pull on my. All right. Stop playing, because now I'm trying to now I'm letting you know. By the time you know, it's too late.
But now the tiger is the bad guy.
Right.
Because they like, oh, all he did was pull his tail. That's no big deal.
Right.
To you, that's no big deal. It's my tail. That's a big deal to me.
And I think, and if I may add on, right, and it just recently happened, right, to Chris Paul, right, and hopefully this analogy matches, right, like Chris Paul, the head of the NBA Players Union, right, Player Association, there's a fan heckling, and the story is, I don't want to say rumors or whatever, the story is that somebody, a fan, like harassed and touched like one of his family members. He, as the head of the Players Association, he's been the tiger for however long. Russell Westbrook has been a tiger for however long. And then all of a sudden, now you're starting to interfere with my personal circle, my family, my well-being, my health. You now discrediting and disgracing my name as a human being. Not as a man of color, but as a human being. And the backlash, which is, I think, is completely, when Chris Paul says, don't worry about it, I'm going to see you afterwards. Now all of a sudden the NBA want to fine him. But wait, nobody said anything when they've been touching my tail, pulling on my tail, you know, bothering me the whole time. And I just been here just doing me. And I think that's what it is, right? When you think of mental health, there's a point, I don't care how strong you think you are. Navy SEALs, who are known to be the strongest of strongest, right, have a breaking point. Right? Somebody's mental toughness. You could read all these books. You could hear about people coming from A to Z, Z to A, doing all this stuff, right? Like, again, not discrediting anybody's story, but everybody has a breaking point.
Right.
Even Dr. Martin Luther King said, we coming for our check.
Listen here.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real, he even said that. You know, he may not have been yelling and screaming, but he meant what he said. You know? But nevertheless, and then I thought about Mike Tyson, to tell you the truth. I thought about that situation with Mike Tyson on the airplane. You know, I don't know if you guys had heard about that one. How, you know, that guy who was under the influence, you know, just bro, I'm gonna just say this. Something got to be mentally wrong with you messing with Mike.
He had that liquid courage. He had that liquid courage.
Mental health. I'll just give you the real stuff. That brother something had to be wrong. How you gonna mess with the heavyweight champion of the world? So something had to be wrong there, brother. Man. He had to be under the influence. I'll just keep it real. Listen, before we move on to the next poll that we have up, does anybody want to have anything to say, last remarks on that former poll that we had up prior to this one?
Yeah, my thing is, what also helped me was understanding why I was so angry. There's nothing wrong with anger, but like the principle of my heart, why are you angry? What has you so angry that you go from 0 to 1,000 so quick? So what's the cause of your anger? Because we can't always avoid anger. That's impossible. So your mind gonna try to do something that it can't do. So we need to understand what's the cause. We see the effect, but what caused you to be so angry? That's the main thing on my mind. Because you can always try to handle it, but one day you can't handle it. Then what? So you understand what's the source of that anger?
Right. And a lot of that is inner stuff, you know, inner self stuff, you know, don't feel confident in me, don't feel like I'm the best person that I can be, or I'm not doing enough to make myself be where I want to be, you know. And then to see somebody step on that or try to, take that from me, I feel like the lash out is necessary,
Absolutely. So, all right, fellas, we're gonna move on to poll number 2 here. What emotion is the hardest to process? Anger, jealousy, envy, or hurt? Brother LG.
Oh, sorry, it closed up for a second, but I think you're just asking for the poll. My answer, I would say hurt. Are we talking about it, or are we just giving a quick answer?
Oh, we definitely talking about
Okay. I remember. So yeah, hurt is that's when I for personally when I feel the hurt is when I'm not sure I can um mm, conduct myself in the manner that I would like to, because the hurt sometimes it gets the better of me. Like if I feel like if I just hurt my finger or I hurt my leg, I start concentrating on that part of my body more, and I know that does affect me. I actually have learned some things that help with that process, um, and that's a blessing because it has been hurt. But then I also think that's a gift because what I've learned is in traumatic events. I guess we have kind of break it down is like this: your brain and your life is on this level. I kind of actually learned this from the stock market, how you have your highs and your lows. Like most stocks, they bounce from the highs and the lows for a long time. As soon as they break into the highs, that's when they start having a new high, a new low, and they usually will stay at that level. Whereas when they go to a certain low, they will stay at that level. And I think a lot of times our lives are like that. You might be so happy or so angry, or you respond to life in a certain way, and you never go too low past this, and you never go too high past this. But when you experience something that's really traumatic, the levels disappear. You can go super high, which is what we all aiming for the most part. But we got to be considerate of that too, because we also during that traumatic and hurtful time in our life, we can also dip down lower than we have before too. So it's important to understand the aspect. So those kind of my thoughts on hurt and why hurt someone one of the most powerful emotions there are.
Brother James. You gave a
I,
good answer earlier. Talk to us, bro.
yes, I agree. Hurt would be the most difficult to process, but only because it's the battle of, is it self-inflicted or did they do it? And that's why hurt for me is so hard to process. If they hurt me emotionally, did I allow them to do that when I told myself I would not be vulnerable to someone to hurt me emotionally again, and then I changed my mind and let them in, and then they hurt me? Did I do that, or did they do that? And that's why for me hurt is hard to process, because I'm mad at myself because I told myself I don't really care and I'm not going to, and then I did. And then the second I did, they did exactly what I thought they was going to do, and then they hurt. Now, is it whose fault is it? Is it mine or is it theirs?
Excellent answer, brother. Namaste.
I think my answer is E. All of them, because it depends on how I feel. Ain't one of all of them, man. We're energy. No matter, no, especially us as men, we think we got so much control. We lying to ourselves. We can't control nothing but the way we respond to it. Stop lying to yourself. We can't listen. As fellas, we want to talk emotion. We're talk how to make women, probably how to play sports, how to be outside. We want to talk shit about emotion. We want to talk nothing about clear communication. We want all we would talk was hide our emotion and always be macho. So talking about your emotions and feeling, especially as a melanated man, that's something that we'll take your macho card. What? You feel some type of way? So we're trying to make our brain do something it can't do keep us away from that bull junk. It can't do that, bro. I allow myself to not be okay, to feel what I'm feeling, to release it. If I don't allow myself to feel what I'm feeling, I'm building resistance. The more I resist, the more it's gonna persist. So I allow myself to feel uncomfortable so it can pass through me. And once it passed through me, and I keep passing through me, get used to that releasing system. We once again become that alchemist. We releasing fear and we turn it into actually unconditional love by our choices to not allow that to slowly kill us. Because when we become angry, we create acid in our muscles. We're actually, when we become angry, we almost act like that same tiger who tail we pull is actually chasing us now to have us for dinner. You feel what I'm saying? That they in our brain, we're going through the same thing a zebra does in the Serengeti when the lion chasing it, but we never come out of that fight or flight mode. So breathing in and out your nose helps you relax, process, and heal, not deal with, heal with your anger and pass through. So the more you do it, the more you filter out, you won't become as angry. You can kind of move through it.
Right.
Good answers, brother LG, brother James, brother Namaste, brother Mondo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the scapegoat answer to this would be hurt because that encompasses anger, right? When we get angry, we've been hurt, right? When we're jealous, there's something hurting us about that builds that jealousy, right? Envy, right? That's also a big part of it too. Like we're envious of something because I think people like being envious and being jealous are two different things. A lot of people don't understand that. So, but it's still a form of like vulnerability that causes some sort of discomfort or disruption. I would say hurt because my first reaction is, damn, you hurt me. I gotta regain that peace that I lost. I gotta do something back. Right. And that's not always the case. So, and not to harp on it, but I think the rest of the brothers on here explained it really well. I think, hurt for me, like I can get over being angry. I'll be jealous for a little bit. I might envy somebody for something, but then that just may motivate me to get better. But if I'm hurt about something, that's going to bother me. That's going to sit heavy with me.
Wow, those are some good answers, man.
What about you, brother Alton? You know what I'm saying? I know you've been.
I was just getting ready to hit on it, man.
Okay.
I was just getting ready to hit on it. You know what I'm saying? I know earlier me and brother James was talking before everybody came on, and I was like, the anger, when I'm hearing everybody talk, it's true because you're right, bro. Brother Mondo, anger does pass. You're absolutely right, man. I like what you were saying because you broke them all, each one of them. And that was phenomenal, man. I'm with you on that. You're right, it is the hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because, when somebody hurts you, man, like for instance, a family member betray you or a friend betray you and they hurt you, you know what I'm saying? That right there is more of a challenge to get over. And it's true. Because because then when you go from the hurt, right, you go to the anger. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You go from the hurt to the anger because you hurt me. So if somebody hurt you, they made you angry, right? Like somebody cheated on you. You know what I'm saying? You was hurt, but it turned into anger. You know what I'm saying? At the same time. You know what I mean? So for me, yeah, man, that would be one of the most challenging things to me because I can't lie, I'm not really much of a jealous person. You know what I'm saying? Anger management, I had to get that under wraps. And as we talked about earlier, now I'm still, you know what I'm saying, not fully delivered now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So don't think you're gonna Chris Rock me. You know what I mean?
Right. Ain't gonna be none of that. They rush to the stage. They're gonna be
there
there.
yet, man. I'm definitely not there yet. I'm not there. I'm not one of the brothers you slap me. I'm turned up. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be another cheek gonna be turned, but it ain't gonna be mine.
It ain't gonna be the one you think neither.
Yeah. But nevertheless, man, yeah, that's my answer, to that question. I just seen brother Tim just pop up.
I thought he was popping in too.
Yeah, I just seen him. I don't know. I guess he just went off. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, if anybody have any last closing remarks or anything like that, man, we're gonna shut it down. Anybody got any last words they want to say on any of the topics that we touched on?
As far as the hurt thing go, I feel like the hurt is the thing that extinguishes all the other A, B's, and C's. Because when you hurt, I mean, everything else passed. Hurt is the only thing that lasts. You know, it's like you said, a family member betray you and it hurt. You don't even fight him. You just walk away because you hurt. You only got the anger in you because you hurt. You know, if she cheated on you or they do this or they do that to you, it extinguishes it, you know, because you hurt. You don't even have the fire to be mad.
And myself, I've never been much of an emotional person, or actually probably better put, I probably haven't been in touch with my emotions very much. But pain is something you can't escape. You can argue and say I don't, I'm not happy, I'm not sad, I'm not angry. But when you feel hurt, that registers. It's the part of the emotions that you're gonna feel. And to me as a person, that I couldn't really feel any of the other emotions, but I know something's really happening when, you know, even when somebody dies. Like I started realizing, like, when people die, that hurt that I feel when somebody dies, it didn't always register, but that was actually really good. You know, I hate to have someone die, but it was a good experience for me as someone that was coming to understand life better, to say, hey, I need to realize, even though I'm not feeling something like this person was very important to me, and it's time for me to take care of myself. And that probably really is the type of thing that really opened up other emotions for me, and to say, hey, we got to use emotions to make life better.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Brother Namaste, you have any last words that you want to say before we close out, brother?
Oh man, the hurt and pain is such a blessing for us to recognize that our spirit isn't agreeing with our thinking. Feeling is the way the spirit speaks to us, but we weren't taught that. We weren't taught emotional healing. We weren't taught spiritual healing. We were mostly taught religion, something outside of ourselves. So that feeling for me knows that whatever I'm thinking, my spirit isn't in agreement with that. So I sit down and kind of understand, what am I thinking that my spirit is agreeing with? So that feeling and hurt for me is a sign that my thinking is in alignment with my divinity. So to me, my depression was my best gift for me to truly understand my inner feeling and an inner voice inside my head.
Brother Mondo, you have any last remarks, my brother?
One uplift and plus one to what everybody shared here. I would say, whether it's us as men of color from the male's perspective, right, and those we interact with, like, 2 points of advice, right? And it's something that I'm practicing as well. So, you know, if I'm preaching, I'm practicing it as well. One, like, take the time to really get to know yourself, right? I think you could be 14 years old, 41 years old, or 81 years old. We're always learning about ourselves, right? So first point of suggestion is get the opportunity to know yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, academically, professionally, right? And that's a big ask and request, but that's what it starts with, right? So know yourself. Second is, like, understand what it's like to be off balance, right? And that one goes into the other. And when I say that is, and I think a lot of you brothers have mentioned on this, this is to compliment and kind of tie it in. If you know yourself, you know what's going to throw you off, right?
Thanks.
So whether it's you saying, damn, I keep showing up to work late, that's not a job problem, that's a you problem. You know what I'm saying? Or when I go to work, I don't feel like it's a space for me. Well, what are you doing differently to make sure that they respect and welcome you the way you need to be, right? And again, those are some of the sides of it. But even as a father, right, like, I'm learning to be better with my partner, right? We're learning together, and she's teaching me a lot, right? But I'm also learning a lot about myself, because I need to understand that it's greater than us now as a parents, right? But I need to continue to learn about myself, which I encourage everyone else to do. And second, understand what it is that throws me off, because that's going to help us mitigate whether we're going to encapsulate it and blow up, or whether we're going to say, you know what, let me tell you about your shoes. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Brother James, you have any last words, King?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate talking to you fellas. I just really do appreciate it. It helps me.
Wonderful, wonderful. I concur. Family, thank you all for tuning in on this evening again for another segment of the Male Perspective dealing with mental health. Just want you guys to know that there's nothing wrong with you receiving counseling, okay? The right counsel. Okay, it's imperative that we get the right counsel, because I want to be very specific. A lot of times people are getting counsel, but it's not the right counsel. So
Right.
please ensure that you talk to someone who is grounded, that's going to give you good advice. As my brother Nam say, he talked about very well about bottling things in, and as so many other brothers talked about how they release their anger. I just want to let you know, I talked to a psychiatrist many years ago, you know, and please get the negative narrative off of talking to a psychiatrist or talking to a counselor like Brother Nama State, as if though you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're not crazy.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? It's therapeutic, and I'm telling you from personal experience. You know, if I had not released, okay, if I had not talked and let it out, you know, then I won't be the brother I am today. Now, I'm just keeping it real with you. So, family, those of you who are listening, please, you know, especially men, don't hold that in anymore, man. Go talk to somebody. If you got to cry it out, you know, if you got to wallow around on the floor, you know what I'm saying? Talking to somebody who's neutral, who don't know you, you know, reach out to Brother Namaste. You know what I'm saying? You know, he have a lot of experience, you know, in that arena as well. He can help you too. Okay. You know, reach out to somebody, you know, just please, just don't hold that in, because it will affect your social life. You know, it affected my marriage. You know, it affected my work relationship. You know, until I actually talked and got it out and expressed myself, I will be the first one to admit to you, my relationships was rocky. Very much so rocky. So please, family, do that not only for yourself, but do that for the ones that you love. Because if you love, remember now, it's an action word, you know, and if you don't do it, you're going to hurt your family. You're going to hurt your friends. You're actually going to push people away that actually love you, but they have to distance themselves because you're hurting them. You see what I'm saying? So please do that for yourself, do that for your family, and do that for your friends. I yield. All right, brothers. See y'all gentlemen next week.
Hello, sir. Can we help you? I was just pulled over real quick. I saw somebody yelling. That I'm not involved with them at all.
Appreciate it.
I just saw someone walk up to that door. I'm not involved with them at all. Yeah, I was just watching. Something.